everyone, it's Meg, and today we are going to watch Severance, episode 1, season 1, obviously. This is a tier 4 patron pick by Light Yagami Whomst I love. Thank you so much for all the support. And I'm going to watch this one solo because Caleb's busy editing, but I might watch it again with him because I've heard this show's really good. And not to be annoying, but I do say this a lot. One of my favorite actors, Adam Scott, is in it, and I always love to share this fun fact that he went to the same school as me, not the New York version, but the LA version. And I honestly think he's like one of the best actors. I love how real he is. So I always tell people that he went to my school because we learned the same acting methods and stuff. Anyways, it's really annoying, but I just don't stop. Like, I know it's an annoying oversharing fact, but I just keep going and going.
Hey guys, it's me. It's Caleb / Paul / Jerome / Benedict / Xavier / Zimothy Bob. I don't know. It's me, Caleb, and I'm reacting by myself. So, what's up? It's good to see you. Meg told me that Severance is really awesome and that I would love it. And she asked me if I wanted to watch it and react to it and have my Sever reaction up. And I was just like, yeah, that sounds really cool. So that's what's happening. I don't really know much about this show. I just love Adam Scott and Parks and Rec, and it looks like it's a lot different than Parks and Rec. So this is going to be fun. I hope you have some water with you because I don't have any with me, but this is an hour. So I drank a lot of water this morning and some coffee. So I think I'm going to be fine for an hour, but if I squirm, I'm going to squirm and it's going to be great. But anyway, let's get this Severance episode 1, Good News About Hell. Have you heard the good news about hell? Because I haven't. Seems like a hot place to be. But nailed it. Awesome.
We
Down.
do it.
We're gonna start in 3.
Yeah, let's start.
2,
3, 2,
1.
1.
Go.
I burped right when I said go.
Sorry. Who are you?
Caleb. You ever slept on a table? Because I have. I sleep on the floor. It's pretty weird, but I don't know. It's comfortable for me.
5 questions. Now, I know you're sleepy, but I just bet it'll make you feel right as rain.
I love his voice.
Is this a thriller? Whoa.
Hey!
I mean, I'd be freaked out too.
Hey.
Kind of reminds me of like the Saw movies, and they just wake up and there's this disembodied voice asking questions.
First name will do.
I don't...
What is or was the color of your mother's eyes?
Whoa.
So that's unknown, Delaware, unknown,
Oh my god.
unknown.
That's a perfect score.
Oh my god. Such an interesting tone, because like you can tell there's an element of comedy to it, but it's also like creepy as hell. Oh, Adam. It's okay, buddy. I mean, maybe it's not okay. Definitely not okay. Sorry.
Wow. That shot. I know nothing about the show. Is it about like the monotony of workplace culture or like overworking? Oh, these shots are so good.
I get like very like creepy automated vibes. Almost like this song could be like a coordinated creepy flash mob.
The symmetry. It's just beautiful to look at, but also scary. It's like kind of creepy how aesthetically pleasing it is. I love those shoes.
Great boots.
He just broke the fourth wall. He looked at us.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Oh my god, what a transition. It was like if the song ending with him going down in the elevator is like so fitting because it felt like the song like sank and sank and sank. Almost like, maybe I'm reading too far into it, but it's like into a pit of despair, and then all of a sudden you're living. What is this? Why? He was just like crying in the car.
Why are the hallways so long? Oh my god. Why? Why is it so long? No. Help.
A long hallway.
It literally has been so much time. Stop her. I'm so afraid right now. Why does this scare me so much? Okay, there we go.
Hi, kids. What's for dinner?
God damn it, Irv. We warned you.
Mark, could I have a word?
I feel like they got theater actors for this because they're acting so realistic, but there's also a certain drama to. Oh no, do not tell me he's gonna walk down all those halls.
Methinks this is all very strange.
This is gonna drive me
Last time
nuts.
you saw Miss Cobell, she was in her old office. Now she's in her new office. It's a completely different office. But I know a compliment about the office would just make her day.
Okay.
Nice office.
Oh, it's horrid.
Yeah, the old one was better.
You look awful. You look hungover.
What?
Thanks.
That's not very nice, Patricia.
I mean, it's kind of refreshing, the like honesty. You look awful.
Petey is no longer with this company.
I'm sorry.
But unfortunately, non-disclosure policy forbids.
Forbids.
Creating an assault on Petey's privacy by you.
Oh, so dramatic.
A handshake is available upon request.
Bro.
Thank you. May I have a handshake?
Oh. I don't know if this is supposed to be funny, but it's hilarious.
We'll be fine.
What the hell is that room?
We're close. Just start at 1A and continue by line based on her answers.
Oh.
I just love seeing you all come in like this. Go on ahead when you're ready.
Oh my
Okay,
god,
this
he's my
dude,
favorite.
He's
What the
he's-
hell
He gives
is
like
happening?
ultimate robot
I'm
vibes.
obsessed.
Like, you are my favorite office friendships.
Who are you? I wonder if you'd mind taking a brief survey?
It's like creepier even from this side. Is just seeing that that's all scripted.
She's not supposed to do that.
Went straight into the survey.
Am I livestock?
Oh,
I'm sorry? Grew a full human, gave you consciousness,
valid
did your
question.
nails.
I don't know you.
No, you're not livestock.
She asked it so genuinely.
Your name is Helly. Helly R. Thank you for taking the welcome survey. I can sense that the questions made you feel afraid or disoriented.
Nice.
Well, the good news is you're at an orientation.
I can't with him.
You see, you have been hired to a position on the severed floor of Lumen Industries.
Severed.
floor.
Imagine yourself as a seesaw.
Ah,
Oh.
whoa.
Oh.
Fuck!
Nice.
Okay, my name's Mark.
There we go.
Oh, that voice's name was Petey, and he became my best friend.
He's gone now, though.
So look, there is a life to be had here, Helen.
What is happening?
Yes, yes, yes.
Let me the fuck out of here.
So bright. Oh my god. And she's like not in the middle. Like she doesn't really follow the symmetry of it.
I just can't watch you leave.
Threshold restricted.
No!
Ooh. Ah.
Oh, he knows about this. I wonder if he did it too.
I've wanted to pummel Mark myself, but I am his employee.
Why though?
Gosh, I love how everything is white, and light, and it's a lumen light. And her name is Helly, and she has red hair, and she walks different. She was like, has this like gait that's sporadic, and she throws things, and it's just like unpredictable. Oh my God, stop.
Are you mad at me?
Oh, dude.
You know my mother was an atheist.
Uh-oh.
Whatever humans can imagine, they can usually create.
Yep.
You know what makes a difference? The people.
I love how this is like capturing the fear of working for like a boss that just kind of sees you as part of the machine. There are definitely good bosses and bad bosses. So many kind of see you as a means to an end.
No! She's so different.
Elected to undergo the procedure, colloquially known as severance.
Oh no.
I give consent for my perceptual chronologies to be surgically split,
No.
separating my memories between my work life and my personal life.
Oh,
Is for
they're
you.
descending into hell. Like this is a kind of hell.
So her state right now is just her spirit. Like that's her OG. Ooh, I want to see Mr. Milchick. Is he the face that was shown on the wall? What happened to his friend? And why would they choose to do this? He had a cold though. So what if he's like Petey's sick. It's like a representation of a sickness that like he can't stand this life.
And like how much of their personalities are intact between the two versions. Oh my God, and the music is like reverse as you're ascending.
Oh my gosh.
'Cause this version is obvious. It seems like this version, the version outside of work, is more aware because he's more sad. And there is this kind of like forced joy and forced acceptance you kind of put on when you're on the job. And I love the use of geometry in these shots too. It's so cool, like the above shot with all the squares and the rectangles and the different colors.
Oh no. Do they own everything? I'm seeing their logo. I'm seeing their colors. It makes me nervous.
Of course, he's watching a documentary on gnats.
Also, I know we're nearing the anniversary, so I just thought maybe you'd want to be around people.
Oh.
Life is not food.
Yes,
Yes, it is.
You've got
Me getting ready to eat some buttered noodles tonight.
fuel, calories. It's not the same thing.
Oh, shut up. Ever eat a potato?
Comparative levels of violence and warfare throughout history.
Oh my God, I hate this guy.
War porn, I know.
What?
But anyway,
They're like the insufferable academia peeps. No offense to anyone in academia. I'm sure that there are great people in academia. I've just seen some really snobby people in academia.
Mark's late wife Gemma was an educator as well, Russian literature. Mark's work is sensitive enough as to require the severance procedure.
Why would you just tell that?
Yeah, it's also, I think, something that's his choice to tell people or not, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Rickon.
Rickon.
I mean, I wish I could do it.
You say that.
well, it's simple. One's memories are.
Oh
bifurcated,
my
so
God, the
when you're not at work, you have
mansplaining.
no recollection of what it is you do there.
Third of your day every day. It's basically gone, but it's not gone.
When are they going to eat?
I stand behind you without reservation.
So well
Dude.
said.
Thank you.
Okay, well, how are you different when you're at dinner and you're not eating dinner?
This dude speaks like a modern day knight, and
Where's your
Rickon is such like a
food?
knight name. So Rickon.
I just feel like forgetting about her for 8 hours a day isn't the same thing as healing.
I mean, it's what people do. Like, people do the severance procedure all the time. They disappear into their work, distract themselves.
I'm making all the bed sheets myself, so I won't finish with the big one.
Oh, Rickon's colleague told us that switching out the beds as the child grows can wound that child.
Oh my God.
If you provide said child with all of its beds upon birth,
It's
And he's in the race car bed.
That car bed actually looks really comfy.
All right, baby. You ready, baby?
I just don't see how his behavior is all that different
Good night, my
from
lord.
Mark.
Yeah.
Milady.
Oh, siblings.
Rickon fancies himself a knight.
That cold, it means something. What? Is someone gonna murder him?
Ella? Petey?
Maybe it's Petey.
Patricia?
Petey? Huh?
Seems like he made the severance choice almost as like a way to avoid having to process his grief. Because he seems like really lost in this version of himself. And I wonder how many people would actually elect to do something like that. Because we metaphorically do it all the time.
Oh,
businessman.
random person.
Entry level or management?
Well, he wouldn't know Petey. He wouldn't know Petey. I love that
He
she
looked at me
believes
weird,
him.
Like he knew me.
Yeah.
Had to drown out the memory of mom and dad switching out my beds when we were kids.
You've been sitting on that one.
Whoa, that's a cemetery. But I mean, it's what happens. Like we built all over burial land, and there are all houses and churches next to graveyards. So creepy.
Excuse me.
Hang up. Quickly.
My God, please be his coworker.
Hi, kids. What's for dinner?
Oh, it's his coworker.
Sorry, you don't got that reference. The voice is different here.
Oh, why am I gonna cry?
Wow. Yeah.
Okay, who the fuck are you?
Petey. My name's Petey. I'm from work. Bypassing the implant wasn't easy. I had help.
Nice.
Oh my
It's
God.
not severance if it's an implant. It's there. It's addition.
And now you... Do I think they're after you or something?
Yeah,
It's so weird. I love it.
nothing. Down there is what they say.
So, we're friends?
I'm your best friend.
Stop.
You're my very good friend.
Oh.
We used to wonder what kind of men we were on the outside.
Oh.
What choices we had made, and why. I used to think it would take a monster to put someone in a place like that office. Especially if the person was himself.
Ooh.
Not a monster, just scared.
We're not monsters, Mark. Not real ones. There's an address on the back of this card.
Hi, Mrs. Selvig.
Oh, will you color me embarrassed for the mix-up with the bin?
Oh no,
problem.
no.
What
Patricia.
How was
the
dinner?
fuck?
Patricia,
Fine.
I recognize that voice.
No, tired.
She lives beside him.
You know my mother was a Catholic. She used to say it takes the saints 8 hours to bless a sleeping
She was an
child.
atheist.
You're good people.
So different. I can recognize her voice. I used to watch Medium as a kid. Shouldn't have been watching it, but I love her. Is she lying? Is she pretending?
So subtle.
I don't
so...
know. I can't tell. Directed
Ben
by
Stiller.
Ben Stiller?
Oh my god. Oh my god. I mean, there are a lot of things I love about it so far. I love that I don't understand what the hell's happening. I love how it's shot. It's shot so beautifully. Like the way that they use geometry. I mean, I brought it up earlier. Like they position the shots, and I feel like it's very intentional the way that they do it. Even if it's just like a zoom on one person, it's just so well done. And I have so many questions. You know, like what made him decide to do that? I mean, I think people do it to avoid certain things or to run away from certain things, like guilt or grief or fear, and fear is probably an element of all of it. You know, like there is that search for stability, and you know there are times that we don't want to be awake, we don't want to be present, we don't want to be aware of what's going on, especially because I mean the world is really nuts right now, and I know that sometimes I just want to tune out, you know, the news and my own mind. It's So I can see a bunch of different reasons why someone would elect to do that, or like they're aware of what their job is doing. Like I could see people that their jobs are a little more, they make them question their morals, like certain elements of law, or pharmaceuticals. Like if you're working for a machine that is the opposite of helpful, the opposite of good, that's like contributing to the downfall of society, then I can see how you would still want that stability of, financial and your home, without the knowledge that you're actively destroying someone else's chance at stability and finances and a home, or grief. Like I'm sure Mark did it for a multitude of reasons. It's obvious that I think it's their mom that's dead. Grief is very uncomfortable for him. When he's not working, he's drinking. When he's working, he's not aware of what he's doing at work. He doesn't even recognize his best friend. But I did think it was really cool how there was an element of recognition just in the humor of that card. He laughed. They get each other. And that's special. You don't get those kinds of friendships where it's just so easy to joke with each other very often. And I think there is like a sort of a soul bond there, because Petey cared enough to find Mark of all people and be like, hey, we had ideas while we were in there together. You're not happy there. If you want to know why you're not happy, here's a trail, because I care, and you're my very good friend, not my best friend. That was really cute, because I mean, Mark he obviously doesn't have many friends outside of his sister. I don't think he likes his brother-in-law very much. And Rickon's really interesting. He really, it seems like I don't know if he's pretending or if he's just very sure of who he is. But the whole like proper knightly vibe is just, it's pretty funny, and also makes me uncomfortable, because I kind of see myself in it. Like I'll make stupid jokes and say like the weirdest shit just to like fit in, or because I'm uncomfortable. Like if we're in a room and there's a silence, I'll fill it with a nonsensical joke or like a grunt or something, just to fill the space. Because I mean, I feel like we all walk through life a little bit uncomfortable putting on a show when we're in front of other people. And I don't think Mark can do that right now, really put on a show. He's obviously pretty depressed. And it's a really great depiction of, I mean, I don't want to diagnose him, but it seems like, from my own experience, that he is depressed. He's not, I mean, he can't sleep. He doesn't seem to find enjoyment in anything other than, drinking. He was crying in front of his office. So that might be the only time that he sits in his grief, is when he's trying to put a brave face on and like go into work. Like he probably felt like he couldn't even walk in because he was crying, and they can't see that side of him. Because they own so much of him. This place owns him. It's really creepy, and they own Helly. Like how does the whole like the not leaving thing work? Like the stairwell. I'm curious if there are like any supernatural elements, or if it's all just corporate science like that keeps us trapped in this capitalist hellscape that we're in. Because I mean, we're a lot of your worth, especially in America, is interpreted and determined by how much you make, how much you contribute to the financial aspect of society, not even necessarily the social aspect. Because I feel like leadership does not value the advancement of society and equality in society. Leadership values how much money you can bring in and how much you can contribute up to a certain point. Because if you're, a billionaire, you don't have to contribute anymore, because you are society. You determine society, and then you take from everyone else. This is going into my own personal views of this stuff. It's a really, really, really interesting and creepy and scarily possible interpretation of where the world can go. Like, I could see this happening. I can see people electing to do this, to have their, not even their memories erased, but a part of them, like, trapped. Trapped was an apt word for it, because they are trapped. Like, you saw Helly, she couldn't escape. But it's this show, it's gripped me already. I didn't know what I expected. I see Adam Scott and I'm like, okay, comedy, because I just know him from Parks and Rec, but obviously he's a fantastic actor, and it's great to see him sink into a more dramatic role. And I know this isn't the only one he's done. I don't know what other stuff he's done, but I think I have seen him, at least his face, on some posters for more dramatic movies and shows. But this is great. And from what I've heard, Apple TV has a lot of really good stuff, but I'm excited to see more of this. I'm excited to talk to Meg about it, because she was just really excited for me to watch this, and just from seeing how it made her feel, I was like, okay, I want to watch it.
I feel like I just watched something amazing. Like, I feel like I watched a really good play. Like, I watched a really good play in New York City. I just feel like every shot was so intentional. The music was so good. The acting was so good. It just made me kind of emotional. There were 2 parts that I got emotional. I kind of felt like crying at the beginning with no context, except that there was this girl, kind of locked in this room, and it was clearly like a corporate place. And she just kept being asked, "Who are you? Who are you?" And she couldn't answer. And she was getting emotional about that, and being asked, "What's the color of your mother's eyes?" to your best recollection, and not being able to answer that. And then also Mrs. Selvig, getting something like that so mixed up. At work, she basically fabricates memories. Like, my mother was an atheist, so like that can help her in her workspace, like when she's talking to people. And then, as her personal self, well, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know if that's the real version. I think it has to be. I think that's the more authentic self. So your work version is actually very different from your personal self. And she's so different, like as a boss and then at home. And I think that also speaks to the expectations placed on women in the workplace. You have to be cutthroat, and especially if you're someone's boss, CEO, you have to be a boss and almost have that kind of masculine, manly energy and not show emotion. And then to see her, it's like really subtle, but to see that she's his neighbor and she has these like really cute colors on, this cute hat, this personality. And so that's how different she's made herself in the workplace. That's wild. And even Petey noticed that with Mark, like, your voice is different. And you can tell they're buds. You can tell they're buddies because of the way that he spoke to him. It's like similar to the way that his sister spoke to him. It just hits really hard because I was also, emotional about him just being like, "You're my friend," because sometimes it can be so confusing. I haven't even worked in like a corporate job, but the jobs that I have worked, like the bonds that you make with your coworkers are just different. And it can be confusing to navigate because it does feel like a whole separate world, a whole separate self. If you want to be effective, you can't bring your baggage to work. And, even as a streamer, a content creator, as an actor, I've been told you have to leave your baggage at the door. Like, you have to come in as a blank slate in order to be the best version of yourself at work. And it's like, okay, but we're all slaves to capitalism. We are. Like, it's just, humans weren't supposed to work in this sense, like 9 to 5, our brains constantly going, we kind of evolved to be outside. We were working the fields, we were walking, we were doing physical things, and it's just unnatural how rapidly this happened, and to be in freaking capitalism's chokehold. And I don't think anyone can argue with me on that. I do have some like simps for capitalism, because this is so anti that. The monotony of the workplace, the parking lot with all those cars, like they don't know who they are outside of work. It's just an exaggerated version of what's actually going on and what's expected of workers and what's expected of people to be functional in society. Like the impending doom of the cold when it's just the sniffles and they're like, don't breathe on me, and I was half joking when I said maybe it's just the common cold that makes them take some days off, and then they're like, wait, what the hell am I doing? I want to live my life. And they're like, Petey, and maybe Mark is catching on to that. I think it's so smart. It's so smart. And then the light in all of this, as Mrs. Selvig, I forget. She said, it's, what really makes it a department? The people. And I feel like she's just like pure zombie, in order to do what she needs to do. Also, quick interjection. I do think that her being a woman and the CEO and the most zombie of them all is very important, and it's intentional, because they said, like, in that little room where they're watching Helly, the guy said, like, when was the last time we had a woman in that role? Like, they knew what they were doing. I feel like it was very intentional to put a woman there, because there are just different expectations, and we're still working from, it's gotten much better. Like, the fact that women can work is even a step in the right direction, obviously. But there's this higher expectation to do it all, to be a boss, be assertive, but don't be too assertive, don't show emotion. Otherwise you're labeled as hysterical. But then also to go home and be that homely homemaker and be loving and caring and have a family and talk about your Catholic mother and all that stuff. I think that was very intentional. And then you have Helly, who's younger, who probably, was naive. And I'm not sure if the operation is that, if it's consensual. I don't know yet. I think there might be brainwashing facility. I think that it's going to be more intense, because there's definitely the thriller aspect. And Helly on the video is so different from what we saw. She is spunky. She's violent. She's a little bit crazy, but like, that's just her personality. And even if you take, it's interesting because you take the memories away of her mother's eyes and her, her name and the state that she was born in, but she's still, her spirit ultimately, she swears, she fights back, but she also kind of trusted Mark. Like the way she walked, her gait, you could tell a lot about her. And Mark did say that he said he was going to tell the voice that was talking to him, who was Petey, that he was going to kill him. And that seems similar to Mark in the real world, because he is kind of sarcastic and depressed. His wife died, it shows how these people can make a decision like that. So maybe it is consensual, but I think there's something else going on. Maybe the corporation is preying on people who are in worse places, because it makes so much sense to me. As soon as she said, like, it's the anniversary of blank, I was like, okay, he was super depressed, chose to throw himself into the work, aka get the severance procedure, so he didn't have to think about it. And let me tell you, as someone who is a workaholic and uses work as not even a coping mechanism, I guess you could call it that, but like as a distraction, yeah, you can't heal that way. You can't. And it's how you kind of get into that, bad, it's almost like an addiction. And I'm so interested in the rest of the world, and I think that this corporation, especially the fact that it's like a water symbol, and they're like, they're aware of the ethical, scientific debate about it, but I think they own everything. Like, I think they've made their way into almost everything. And my dad worked for a corporation that, like, I couldn't answer what they actually did, and they were privately owned, and like I didn't know how to answer that. When people asked, what does your dad do? It was like, oh, I even looked it up eventually, and it was like, they dabble in this and this and this, and it's like the most generic answer ever. And I always felt like it was a weird secret, and my dad was like, so still to this day, like, kisses their feet, like he's obsessed with this corporation that I can't even tell you what they do. And so, like, it's actually not that far off. It's an exaggerated version, but it's not that far off from what's really happening. If you look at those big companies, the corporations, how they can donate to campaigns, to political campaigns. They control so much. They control legislation, because if they're donating money to politicians, I just think that shouldn't be allowed. It's crazy. The more you look into it, and if you're someone who's watching this, I don't know, I don't think you made it this far, who's just like, well, what's the alternative? Capitalism has done a lot, blah, blah, blah. Just like, you are in the brainwashed state, and I urge you to be like Petey and Mark and actually look into how messed up it is, and just how much that money-making business owns us. Like, healthcare is a profitable thing in the US. It's so messed up. And it shouldn't be that way. And so that's why I love the show. I think it's amazing. And it's funny too. So you're not just depressed, but it also really touches your heart, because I feel like if you're just a human being on this planet, you've known someone like Petey. You've had a freaking coworker that you just saved your life in a way. The hardest jobs that I've stayed at have been because of the coworkers, like the people it makes the job, and it's kind of like, we should band together and not let this happen. But what am I saying? Like, we're just going to bring out the guillotines. I don't know. It's just it's like uncharted territory. Like, I really feel like historians are going to look back, if we even make it that far. But even in, some decades, I do have hope that it'll change. But they will look back and be like, oh my God, they had no rights and they didn't know. They were literal slaves. They were zombies. But it was so good. I can't wait to show this to Caleb. Thank you so much, Light, for this recommendation. Like, I feel like you really are choosing things that I will enjoy and Caleb will enjoy, and that I cannot thank you enough for that. And I know I feel like really awesome when I recommend something to someone and they really like it. So I hope you're feeling that satisfaction, because that's probably one of the best just singular episodes I've seen on TV. I feel like that could have been a movie and it would have been enough, or like a short film, and it would have won awards at Tribeca, because it's so important. So thank you so much. Oh gosh, that was so good. And let me know your thoughts. Holy crap, that was so amazing. Yeah. Well, thank you for watching. I don't know if I'll edit this. It might just stay for Patreon. We'll see. But regardless, thank you. I appreciate you. Please take care of yourself. Not everything is about work. I'm gonna go probably eat some noodles. Oh, I wanted to say too, oh, my dogs are mad, that I think that it's those people at the dinner party were super hypocritical, because they were like, oh my gosh, you're a slave to capitalism, blah, 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 blah. And they didn't eat dinner at a dinner party. And like, that guy was talking about how food is fuel and it's not life. And to me, that's just so messed up and laughable. And it's not that different from choosing to undergo a procedure like that. And I think it also shows, these people that think they're high and mighty, we live in a society but then they're acting like that and they don't really know how to. Those friendships did not seem legitimate. As legitimate as Petey and Mark's. You know, let me know if you agree. Anyways, I gotta go. I love you.